Snow is fun. Remember when you were a kid and you couldn't wait to go outside to play in the snow? You'd spend hours out there and not get tired. Some things don't change. But now that I'm older, I'm also able to appreciate the beauty of the high contrast landscapes created by the thick white blanket of snow and the way it adds definition to the trees and rocks. We were in the Idaho and Oregon border region, where the snow varied from just a sprinkling in the high desert to well over a foot deep in the mountains. Although we had several destinations planned, we were mostly there to just play in the snow and enjoy the journey.
It's winter in Idaho again, which means it's time for us to head out on our first winter trip of the season. You can see it's already snowy around me, just aired down, getting ready to head up into the mountains, where hopefully we're going to make it from McCall, where we're at right now, over to Yellow Pine, and then onwards. But honestly, we have no idea what lays ahead in terms of the amount of snow. If it continues like this, not going to be a problem at all. It's just kind of slushy, a couple inches. But could get a whole lot worse. I think the only way to find out is just to quit talking and get on with it. Let's go find out.
All right, dude, first winter trip of the year has officially begun.
On this trip, Will was leading the way in his Gladiator. This is a road he knows well, but has only ever driven it through to Yellow Pine in the summer. Obviously, things are completely different in the winter. With it being so early in the season, we had no idea what to expect.
I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for this one and what lays ahead.
I've only ever driven this road in the summer, and it is remarkably beautiful when we get into the mountains. So I'm really hopeful that we get some nice views in the winter too.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've been out to Yellow Pine, and I remember that it was really pretty last time, but of course everything's completely different in the snow.
Yellow Pine is a small town of around 30 people that sits between the mountains at the convergence of 3 creeks into the east-south fork of the Salmon River. We had stopped at the isolated settlement a few years ago on our way through on the Idaho BDR, where we had picked up some supplies and $9 gas. When we'd visited, it had been close to 90 degrees, and I was looking forward to seeing it in the snow.
Have you noticed that we're the only set of fresh, full-size vehicle tracks on right now?
Yep, we're laying new track.
Even though we were the first passenger vehicles to drive up the road since the last snow, it was easy going.
So far, this is pretty easy driving. I don't want to jinx anything, but this is like friendly snow.
It was only a few inches deep, we had plenty of grip, and the snowmobile tracks we were following helped give a solid base.
What'd you air down to, Rob?
I went down to 20. I didn't want to go down too low just in case I wanted to put chains on, but I think 20 is enough for comfort and maybe a little bit of extra contact patch with the ground.
Great. I went down to 12. Well, that's pretty.
Apparently we're still 37 miles from Yellow Pine.
Yeah, we got a ways to go. I mean, it's about the same distance for Chris from Cascade into Yellow Pine. I just think he's going to have an easier road, and he's not stopping to film.
I tell you what, so far I am loving this road. It is beautiful. We're getting little glimpses through the trees of the mountaintops, and when the sun comes out, it's lighting up those mountaintops, it's lighting up the treetops. It's incredible. And it's not too difficult so far. You know, we've probably got like 4-ish inches of snow around us, a few deeper patches, but it's super easy snow. Like, it's pretty wet snow, so we're having no problems at all gripping our way through this.
As we climbed past 5,500 feet, the snow rapidly got deeper.
Jeez, dude, this snow got deep fast.
It was still easy enough thanks to the snowmobile tracks compacting a trail for us to stay on, so we kept on climbing as the sun set and light rapidly receded.
I'm on the phone with Chris right now.
We were still several hours from Yellow Pine when we got a call from Chris, who was supposed to be meeting there.
So Rob, he's on a snowy road too, not plowed or anything. He's got 28 miles left to go to get to Yellow Pine.
We just got a phone call from Chris, who we were supposed to be meeting in Yellow Pine tonight. Basically, the whole goal of this trip was Will and I started early. We were going to take the difficult roads, the unmaintained, unplowed roads over the mountains into Yellow Pine, and then Chris was going to take the main road into Yellow Pine. Except he just got to the base of the main road and it's not maintained at all. Like, it's not plowed. It's got deep snow like we're on here, and he's completely by himself. And it's just, he's got 28 miles to go, and it's just not safe for him to take roads like this by himself. So we're backtracking. We've turned around. We're going to meet up with him somewhere. We're going to look out for a campsite along the way between the two of us.
By the time we turned around, it was completely dark. Being in a dense forest and driving between tall peaks made the darkness come on amazingly quickly. Thankfully, Will had just installed 11 new lights from Ironman 4x4 before heading out, and I had my Heretic Studio light bars, so we were both able to turn night into day in front of us.
Those are some bright lights, man.
All right, we are all aired up. We're gonna head down to Cascade. Apparently Chris is down there, so we're gonna go meet up with him and then find somewhere to camp. Well, we might not be meeting up with Chris just yet, because when I unplugged my inflator from this tire, the valve stem just split a leak somehow. So when I'm not holding it, I'm losing a ton of air. So I've got to fix that first. Either I've got to switch tires or repair, but it can be delayed.
The best I can figure out is that either the valve stem was already damaged or the snow getting packed into the wheels somehow damaged it, and between that and the cold, it finally gave up when I removed the hose. I decided that the best approach would be to switch tires rather than repair. I have a valve stem replacement kit that I had picked up from my website at revereoverland.com, but it involves tearing the damaged one out and leaving my TPMS inside. It's something I'll do if I have to, but I'd rather not have the sensor rattling around inside the tire if I can avoid it.
Well, this is hot work. I had a cool clothing company gave me a ton of clothes for this trip, you know, like super warm winter clothes. Like this is a down jacket, but when you're working like this, I don't need them.
It took a lot more time and effort removing the wheel and installing the new one, but I think it was worth it. By the time I was done, Chris had made his way up to McCall and stopped at a restaurant, so we headed over to meet him there for a late dinner.
Well, dinner was excellent. That was a good call stopping there. Obviously met up with Chris. He's following me now, and we're heading out to find ourselves a nice little spot to camp for the night.
Now that we're set up at camp, it is of course time to break out the bourbon. These guys, I mean, they take bourbon with them everywhere, but I made an extra little treat that I'm gonna share with them in a minute. Before we get those out, I'm gonna quickly thank Devos. These lights, I mean, if you've watched my channel before, you've seen these lights. Got the Devos Light Ranger 2000 over here. It's a super bright, tall one. But they just launched the 800 Mini, and as part of it, it's more like a tabletop light. As part of it, they have sponsored this trip. They've made this whole trip possible, and I'll talk more about these lights later. In the meantime, all you need to know is you can get 12% off using this like QR code that has popped up on the screen, or you can go to devosoutdoors.com and use the code Revere12 to get 12% off. But now, we go back to the bourbon.
All right, so you guys want to try the goodies?
I do. Tell me what these are.
These are called bourbon balls.
Bourbon balls.
Balls of bourbon, yep.
Are they, like, describe to me, like, and you made these?
I made these, yeah. So it's
what'd you do?
It's like a creamy bourbon flavored sugar mix on the inside and chocolate on the outside.
It's bourbon flavored, or
No,
is
it's
it
got
made
bourbon.
with
Bourbon in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no like cooking or heating or anything. It's just straight up bourbon in there. So help yourself.
See, I was gonna grab one. He just like
Yeah,
dives
that's
in.
straightforward.
That's how I roll.
And this stuff goes really well with bourbon.
You made this?
I made that.
I don't believe it. We're really good.
It's outstanding.
It tastes like something you buy from a candy factory or something.
It is.
With a hint of bourbon.
Yeah.
This is gonna give us diarrhea later, I'm pretty sure. Thanks, Rob.
Well, it's only because you're gonna eat like 15
I
of them.
might eat a few of these.
Yeah. By you, I mean me.
For anybody watching this, it was supposed to be on this trip, didn't make it for any reason. I'm gonna eat your bourbon balls.
Here, David.
Well, what do you guys think about having some actual bourbon?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, despite all the difficulties we had yesterday with getting a hold of Chris and meeting up with him, and then with the tire problems, camp ended up being great. This was super easy. Just found this spot not far out of town. Nice wide open area. No one's come past, and I don't think many people are gonna be camping in this kind of weather. There's not many people stupid enough to do that. So today I need to get packed up. The other guys are almost done packing up, and they're pretty much waiting on me now. And then we are gonna go around and actually do a different trail, since we already did like 20 miles of this one, heading out towards Yellow Pine. We don't wanna go do the exact same thing again. So we're gonna head further south from here and hopefully make it out to a reservoir, which should be really pretty in the snow.
After packing up, we made a couple of quick phone calls to make sure the roads were open and legal to travel, then headed out.
Track for this route is just getting thicker and thicker as we drive back and forth along the exact same road. That water down there is starting to freeze.
Yeah, it's looking pretty slushy.
Go down to the boat launch here and take a look?
Yeah, go for it. I'll turn around.
In the winter, this is an option.
Yeah.
Because this is just lakeside. It's just the water's receded. And you can camp here. And this, I mean, if you get a little bit of sunshine, this lake is absolutely beautiful.
On our way out towards McCall, I looked off to the left, and we could see this lake. This is the Little Payette Lake. We could see it between the trees. And I saw a sign that said lake access off to the left. And we decided to just come down and check it out, and came across this. This is an incredible spot. It's beautiful. I wish we'd found this last night, because we could have camped basically right where we're parked right now, right on the edge of this lake. Would have been such a cool spot to wake up to. Not that the spot we're at was bad. I liked it. I guess we got to experience both. Got the best of both worlds. But now it's time to keep heading south, and we'll go pick up the trail down, it's about 45 minutes south of here. On the way out, I noticed a sign that said no camping that I did not see on the way in. So never mind, I guess we can't camp there. But it's still definitely worth a stop to take a look, because that is beautiful. But now, continuing south, I think like I said, got about 45 minutes to go, not too far. And then we should be back out in the snow.
The route from McCall took us over a couple of icy passes, and although I usually skip filming a lot of paved roads, we were surrounded by beautiful scenery and dense forests, and the sun kept peeking through the clouds to light up the scattered yellow trees.
It's just a beautiful day right now. I really want to get on the snow. I am really, I don't know what the word is, not anxious, but I am highly anticipating seeing what the trail's like when we get up there.
You know, we're like, well, we at close to 6,800 feet right here, and there's less snow here than there was at 5,800 yesterday.
Significantly less, so that's a good sign.
Although there was less snow on Warm Lake Pass heading over to Penn Basin, we'd been told by the Forest Service station we'd called that we could expect up to and maybe even over 1.5 feet of snow as we approached Deadwood Summit. He also warned us that the hills south of Deadwood Summit love to avalanche. We just got to the end of the pavement, and honestly, I don't think I'm going to bother airing down. The snow is super soft and powdery, but I'm not having any traction issues at all. The only reason I'd air down now is just, well, if the snow got really deep and I wanted to try and float across on top of it, which, because it's so soft and powdery, I don't think it's going to happen. The other reason would be for comfort, but I've got a nice cushion of soft powdery snow underneath me, so I don't think it's necessary. It does help, I think, that I switched tires for this trip. I went with the Falcon AT4Ws, which is supposed to be really good in the snow, and so far I've been really impressed. It also helps, I went down to 35s, but these are 35s by 13.5, so they're a very wide tire, which I think, again, really helps in this snow. So I think we're doing fine. We'll see how it goes.
I think we need to turn around.
No, I don't think so.
We just passed something called Whiskey Cabin.
Oh, well, when you put it that way, we should definitely turn around. Good eye, Rob.
Hold on, stop filming, I got stuck.
Come on, buddy! Well, that thing is super heavy. Oh, he still got it. He's still moving.
Nicely done, Rob.
Is there whiskey inside of it?
There can be.
What's the big deal, Rob? Where's the cabin?
I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah, come look. Check it out. The cabin is just around the corner here. Snow's a little deep.
This is the whiskey cabin? This is it. Yes. That's all you need.
Like a whiskey lean-to?
Yeah.
Honestly, if you have enough whiskey, I think this would be plenty of shelter.
So for those who drink bourbon, this is a warming hut.
Just, yeah, okay.
The map does actually say there is a real cabin here, and it says it's just off the road. I think it's somewhere through the trees over here, so we're trying to find the real cabin.
Here we go. It's this whiskey cabin is so important to us. We're trudging across a powdery meadow to find this magnificent structure that will wow us and amaze us when we get there. I'm following Rob. I don't know. I think this is I think we chose the wrong leader.
This is getting really deep.
He's choosing the worst path.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that teepee thing was it. Well, we had no luck finding the real cabin. It might be just a shell of what it once was, buried under the snow somewhere around here. But good news is now we've got soaking wet ankles and feet.
Well, the cabin was maybe a little underwhelming, a little less than I thought it would be, but it's still fun. It's a good place to stop for lunch as well. And now we're gonna go back down the little side trail and continue on to Deadwood Reservoir. There should be some good campsites, hopefully. We actually went there a few years ago when we did the Idaho BDR, and there are some beautiful spots, but it was so busy in the middle of summer. Now, I'm willing to bet that there's no one else out there, so we can go to the prime campsites.
Back on the main trail, the snow was the perfect depth for us to make good progress through. The deeper patches were just enough to kick snow up around us, occasionally catching and pulling us to one side like a deep puddle on the side of the road would, but that just added to the fun. It was all still shallow enough that we weren't getting caught up or having to slow down.
I feel like the snow's gotten just a little bit deeper in here.
Yeah, I've noticed there's patches where we're dragging our diffs in it now.
I am having so much fun right now. This is like such a great winter drive.
Yeah, this is a ton of fun.
Yeah, this is a ton of fun. Beautiful. Feels almost like we're headed out to find Christmas trees.
As we passed Tyndall Meadows, I once again got flashbacks to our Idaho backcountry discovery route trip, where we'd taken the well-maintained but very dusty roads through the lush green valley. Things were very different this time around. The meadows are just north of Deadwood Summit, and as we'd been warned, the snow was starting to get much deeper, to the point where the engines were working harder and we were starting to struggle in spots.
I think I'm going to need to air down.
All right, we're breaking trail, but we're coming through this meadow that is deeper snow. I think probably just some snow drifts, but we haven't aired down yet. And so when breaking trail, I'm starting to get a lot of wheel spin. So I'm gonna go down to maybe 12, 10 PSI, somewhere in there. But hopefully we'll actually make it to the destination tonight. Stay there and continue going. Hopefully there'll be no backtracking today.
And I'm following, so it's actually a lot easier for me. Even though my truck is slightly wider than Will's tracks, I'm not struggling at the back. My biggest problem is ground clearance, where Will and Chris have 37s, I've got 35s, and I'm dragging my diff in the snow. So I'm gonna stay fully aired up, just so I got that little bit extra clearance.
like I'm zigzagging and can't drive a straight line, and some of that's true, but the other part of it is this road is pulling me to each side of the road. Okay, first time I have gotten stuck, guys.
Yeah, it's all the way up to your axles, Will.
Despite being in snow up to his axles, Will was able to make it through after a few attempts.
Nicely done, Will.
I was also having a tough time.
Well, now I'm struggling back here.
That makes 2 of us there, Rob.
With my significantly heavier vehicle, I was sinking into the snow more and needed more traction up the hills. That, combined with slightly less ground clearance, was holding me back. After using momentum to get me through a deep spot, I got caught up in the exact same spot that Will had stopped on.
Well, I'm stuck again.
Do you need help?
I can back down, but it might be time for me to try the chains.
I'd had 2 choices. I could air down like Will and Chris had, which would reduce my ground clearance but potentially allow me to get up onto the snow a little bit better, or I could massively increase my traction with chains at the cost of digging down into the snow more. Since my vehicle is very heavy and sinks in anyway, I opted for the chains. I don't know if I made the right choice, but I was at least able to get moving. Slowly.
This is one of those times the chains really do help in the deep snow because there is no icy layer for me to go on top of. It's just all super soft, powdery snow. So I'm digging down through it anyway. So the chains are helping because they're digging into it. This is one of the few times. You can tell how much it's digging by how much the camera is shaking.
It was going okay, right up until the snow pushed me towards the edge of the road, at which point nothing I did helped.
Rob, are you stuck again?
Yeah, I can't stay straight. I just keep going off the edge here.
No, I am stuck.
I am happy to come back down and give kinetic tugs to anybody as well.
So the chains were helping me get up the hill slowly but surely, but I ended up sliding off towards an edge that we've got here into some super deep snow and just backing up, going forward again. Didn't matter what I did, I just kept working my way further and further over. And now I'm off the edge of the side of the road and I am stuck. So Will is coming back down now. I could winch because there's plenty of trees around here, but Will's gonna come back down. We're gonna hook up, got the little Ironman kinetic rope that's there. Gonna hook that up. That way he can help me continue going up the hill after this bit.
You got yourself into a little pickle here.
I did.
It took 3 attempts before Will got me out of the pickle and continued to pull me up the hill past Chris, who'd also slid off to one side and gotten stuck.
You are pulling me up this hill, but if anyone asks, I'm going to deny it.
After just a few hundred feet, we made it to the top of Deadwood Summit. It was all downhill to the reservoir, but we had to reevaluate.
So with how stuck I just got and how difficult the last half mile has been since we've passed this meadow and climbed up to Deadwood Summit, raises the question of what we're going to do next. And unfortunately, once again, we have someone coming out to meet us, and he was supposed to be meeting us at the Deadwood Reservoir. And once again, he's completely alone. And we're just not comfortable leaving him to do all that by himself. So we're going to backtrack a little way and go to a different lake. So we're still getting a lakeside campsite. It should still be pretty snowy, so it should be really pretty. I think we'll still have a good time. So we're going to turn around and head back north. Will, you're going very close to the edge there.
That was a close one.
We dropped back down to the meadows, passing the spot I'd been stuck, and made our way north as the sun started to set.
That is beautiful behind us.
Golden hour quickly turned to blue as the sun sank further below the horizon, and we started to climb back out of Penn Basin up onto Warm Lake Pass. Our friend Lance was coming out to camp with us, and as we reached the top of Warm Lake Summit, we picked him up on the radio. We arranged a spot to meet up where he'd be leading us out to a campsite that he knew.
Hey, dude, should we just follow you?
If that's you guys, I can't see a thing.
Mission accomplished.
Will is bringing the light.
Let there be light.
Sorry. I blame you. So Lance has led us to this fantastic little campsite, plenty of room for all of us, and actually I'm kind of glad we're camping here and not over at the reservoir, because here there's like, I don't know, 4 inches of snow versus snow that was getting in the top of my boots when we're over at Deadwood Pass. I was just actually about to get changed because my ankles and my socks are wet from snow getting in the top of the boots. So I kicked on the heater to warm up and they're ready, and the intake and the exhaust on the heater were actually blocked with snow. So I had to clear those out before I could get it running, because there's just so much snow caked up the underside of the vehicle from where it's been dragging. And Will's already getting the fire ready. He's got his little fire pit out, started chopping wood. So we're gonna have a nice warm fire, and then
I think this belongs to you.
that does belong to me, thank you. And then it's time to bust out the bourbon. And this time, I think it's my turn. Obviously, I brought the bourbon balls last night. Lance needs to try those. But I brought some bourbon from Kentucky. Oh, I need a verdict.
Wow. That is tasty. So I showed off my Idaho bourbon. What did you bring?
So I brought some real bourbon from Kentucky. I brought some Booker's. I have no idea what it's like. I've never had it before, but it came in a box.
It literally is a box, like a wooden box.
Yeah, so it looked really fancy because it came in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You had Booker's? Yeah. Oh, come on in then. You want some more? Is it good?
Yeah.
This table's not quite steady.
Chris, do you want some Bookers?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes I do.
Come on in. Bring your cups in. What do we do with the box? Stick it on the fire?
I mean, it's wooden. Well, we'll see.
Say when.
When?
Cheers.
Cheers.
To Kentucky bourbon.
Bookers.
Real bourbon.
Bookers.
It's good.
That's pretty
That is
good.
nice. That's good.
Fan of
It's got a nice woody taste to it.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
I like that. So last night we used all of our Devos lights to light up camp once again, you know, while we were setting up, making dinner, lighting fire, that kind of thing. And we of course used the new Devos 800 Mini. And just like all the other Devos lights, it is basically a light on a stick that goes up high. Like all the other ones, it also lights down, giving you a huge area that's lit up. You can also add on filters or change the color like you can with all the other Devos lights. And we'll probably end up using this one later today or this evening. I'll tell you why in a minute. And one of the things that sets the 800 Mini apart is how compact it is. You can see that this thing folds up super small, so that is great for if you've got a limited amount of space. You know, space is definitely a limiting factor in a lot of our vehicles. Maybe not so much in a full-size truck, but if you're driving a Jeep or something like that, especially, having something that takes up this little space is really nice. And of course it still extends up, so it goes up 4 feet. This one's more designed to go on tabletops, so if you're cooking or something, you can set it on your table, or if you're setting up, you can put it up on your hood. That way you're still getting it up in the air, it's elevated, and you're getting 4 feet of height plus, you know, whatever it's sitting on. But the reason I might need this filter tonight is because we're getting ready to leave the snow. One of the great things about Idaho is it has a huge variety in the landscapes and terrain. So we're heading from the snow, where there are no bugs, out to the desert, where, I don't know, it's winter. There might not be any bugs still, but we'll find out. We're gonna go pack up.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Even though we hadn't made it to either of our intended destinations on this trip, we'd achieved what we'd come out to do. That was to have fun. The snow driving had been a blast, and the sights along the way were worth it too.
You see those big rocks off to our left, that big cliff. There's a road that goes along the base of that cliff, and there's a bunch of hot springs along that road.
We also saw lots of spots that we'd like to come back out and explore when the weather is a little nicer. Although we were heading out of the Idaho mountains and south to the Owyhees, we'll definitely be back in the area this summer.
This is Warm Lake, and this is where I thought we were going to camp last night, because there's, on the map, there's a road that goes down to the lakefront there. And, I mean, the road exists, it's just gated off. Thankfully, Lance knew a better spot for us to go and camp off a little further down the river. But I'll still show you the lake, because it is absolutely beautiful. So even though we weren't able to drive down to the beach and camp over there, there was a little boat dock, so we were able to drive right down to the shore and check it out over here.
Yeah, I want to go up on top of all these mountains now and see what it's like to look down on the lake from there.
Oh, that would be really pretty.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Warm Lake is not very warm. It does have a little jetty that you can walk out on and admire the views, but you know what, I think I'm going to admire them from here, because by the looks of that thing, I would be experiencing the coldness of Warm Lake up close and personal if I walked out on that. All right, it is time for us to head down to the Owyhees. Got a decent chunk of pavement, got to go over a couple of mountain ranges. Then we're heading south out into the high desert, which I'm really looking forward to, because I've been once, and it's a really, really cool area. So pretty. So we'll see you down there.
So why are some of these trees yellow? Because they don't have leaves to lose.
That's actually a deciduous evergreen called a tamarack, and they do go yellow and lose their needles.
We just stopped to get some gas, and while Will's inside getting supplies at the gas station, got a little something to add to the back of his Jeep, so people know to look out for him. I think that's perfect. It's a good thing the smart cap's made of steel, because the tailgate's aluminum and it didn't stick. The drive from Cascade to the Owyhees takes a couple of hours. It's a beautiful drive as you go south through the Payette River Valley, and our student driver made it through the busy Snake River Valley with no problems. We fueled up again, and soon enough, we had the Owyhees on the horizon.
The Owyhees look awesome right now.
Behind me is the edge of the Owyhees, and I've been through this area once before, and it's an incredible spot. Beautiful rolling hills, but I only spent like a couple of days going through there. Very quickly saw some of the cool sights. Now I'm going in with some people I consider to be the experts of this area. Chris in particular lives like 2 miles that way, so he's out here all the time, and he said he's going to take us out to a couple of cool spots. So I'm really looking forward to it. Just got aired down, and ready to head up into the hills.
Did you just put that on there?
That's been on there since she left. Like when we fueled up with gas.
Look, this gives me, actually I might leave this on there because it gives me some leeway for my terrible driving habits. Well, there it is, folks. This is what you get when you go with Rob from Revere Overland. You get ridiculed on a daily basis, and your feelings hurt.
This is so different from where we started today, guys.
I love that view off to the right. Like you can see the snow-covered mountains and the clouds just sitting on top of them. It's so cool. Guessing these hills are really green for about 5 minutes each year, sometime in late spring.
You might be surprised from about when the snow melts off, usually kind of in March. They stay pretty green until like late June, early July. If you can come in through like, I don't know, May, then there's like tons of wildflowers through here and it's super green.
So Rob, we're about to take a right and have a pretty significant drop down this little draw.
Yeah, this is pretty steep.
Yeah, no matter how many times I do it, it's still a little clinchy.
I guarantee that was way sketchier than it looked on camera. It probably looked like nothing. It's just for some reason camera never does steep slopes justice. And that one, not only was it super steep, but you're also kind of leaning over as you went down, and I think the loose rocks made it even worse, because every time you went over one of those loose rocks, you drop over it towards the way you're leaning, which just made it feel even worse. But we all made it down with no problems.
this is cool. Oh, we're not in Idaho anymore.
Yeah, I think we just crossed the border.
As we crossed the Owyhees, we kept taking turns on the vast network of roads. It's clear that you could spend days exploring the hills, rocky bluffs, and canyons and never take the same road twice. This is why people like Chris, Will, and Lance love to come out here and explore, and that's exactly how they found the campsite that we were heading towards.
When we were airing down, it was pretty windy out here. You know, it's a flat, open area for the most part, but Chris has been promising us this amazing campsite that's down in a valley surrounded by cliffs. And as we're rolling in now, I think he's fulfilled that promise. This looks like a good one, and hopefully it's got some decent shelter. Looks like it's going to be sheltered from the wind, so that should be good. Looks pretty great.
I might actually kick it into low range because I think there's a couple spots here that get kind of steep.
Well, I think the guys did really good finding this spot for us to camp. This is a really cool spot. Actually reminds me of a lot of the places on Lord of the Rings. I think there was one place they camped or went. I don't know, it's been a long time since I've seen the movies, but it seemed to look a lot like this from what I remember. So I really like it. It's cool. Unfortunately, it is also kind of cold. Even though we're not up on a ridgeline, there is still a bit of a breeze, and it is a very cold breeze. It's only like 40 degrees right now, so it's not that cold, but the wind's just cutting right through us. And to make things worse, because of the wind, we've decided not to have a fire. There's a lot of dry grass around us, and we don't want to risk the embers being kicked up out of the fire and setting this whole place alight. But still, great spot, and it puts us right in the middle of the Owyhees to see some of the really cool sights tomorrow.
What do you see?
5 deer, muleys, 3, or actually 5, all 5 doe.
As the evening went on, we settled down to watch the supermoon rise over the distant Boise Mountains to the northeast. When it got dark, we lit the beacons of Minas Tirith, got dinner going, and I set up my outdoor office to start editing this video. A few hours later, I got a knock on my door and was told that we'd have to leave.
Good morning.
So I just woken up by the sound of engines starting, and was politely informed we need to leave now because we've got some big heavy snowflakes coming down, and it is settling around us. It's currently 4 a.m. Haven't quite got enough sleep, but that's okay because I'd rather get down now than wait, because some of the hills getting up here are a little sketchy and we need to go.
I think we're making the right call, as disappointing as it is. So I think otherwise we'd be kind of taking a pretty big risk in the morning.
I do love the irony that we came to the desert to escape the snow, and yeah, now it's snowing.
So does this mean we can put "We Almost Died" in the video title now?
Massive, unexpected snowstorm almost killed us.
Thankfully, we're still alive. And by leaving early, the drive off the hilltop was no more sketchy or dangerous than the drive in. Of course, we started to make it off the soft Owyhee soil and down to the nearest maintained road.
So just looking at the road, guys, this was definitely the right decision to get out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
As we'd driven, the snow had started to let up, but it also had a chance to soak into the roads, leaving the top layer soft and slick.
I'm already starting to see little chunks of mud be kicked up around me.
Yeah, I can hear it in my wheel wells now.
While it wasn't terrible, it's not something I'd want to drive on later in the day after it soaked up more water. As we approached the Sucker Creek Canyon, we drove up onto a viewpoint where we could see the cliffs on the other side.
This is where it's nice to have a light bar with the lights pointed way too high.
I'm going to be very excited to make myself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, coffee does sound really good.
So it took us about 2 hours, but we are down in Sucker Creek Campground, 6:25 now. I'm trying to decide if I want to go back to bed or if I'm up now. They're all making coffee. I had some caffeine to get me down here, so I think I'm probably awake too. So I set up the awning, and I think we're probably just going to hang out under here and wait for the sun to rise, because this is a beautiful area. And I wanted to come down here anyway. As we were coming down, the roads were definitely starting to get slick and muddy, and we were doing some pretty steep sections over the hills. So thankfully from here, it's a pretty well maintained road out or even along the canyon if we wanted to continue, and it's all pretty flat, so shouldn't be a problem.
Want this on video?
No, but why not? Another great use for this Devos mini light is when it's dark outside and you have to go to the bathroom in a vault toilet. A little bathroom light. You can see what you're doing.
Can confirm. After making myself an elaborate gourmet hot breakfast, I settled down to rest my eyes. As it got lighter, the incredible landscape around us slowly came into focus. I ended up bundling up and sitting down and taking a little nap, and now the sun, well, I don't want to say the sun's up, but it's bright out. It's still kind of mixture between rain and sleet, maybe a little bit icy, but we're ready to head out. We're going to head through the canyon here.
Man, Sucker Creek just looks so mystical right now with the rain clouds.
Yeah, it looks like something out of a Peter Jackson movie.
It really is an incredible area, and once again would not look out of place in The Lord of the Rings. You can see why it's such a popular destination in an otherwise largely ignored corner of Oregon. Of course, if you only visit Sucker Creek, you are missing out on the rest of a fantastic part of the country. This is another area that I need to come back to in order to spend more time exploring the rolling hills. Sucker Creek is a beautiful area. It's one of those places you've probably seen on Instagram or on YouTube before. In fact, I've been through there before and have no regrets going back through because it is such a beautiful area. And it's actually completely different this time around. Last time it was July, it was sunny, the rocks were all lit up, there was dark shadows. This time around, you know, it's raining, middle of winter, and completely different, especially the way the clouds were just, or the rocks were just poking through the low-hanging clouds. It's a fantastic area. The funniest thing about traveling through Sucker Creek is if you come the way we're going, you're in these deep, dark, really rocky, steep-sided canyons, and then suddenly you're out in rolling hills. If you're going the other way, like I was the first time I came down through here, it kind of catches you out because, like I say, you're in these really wide open, grassy hills, and then suddenly there's this canyon that just comes out of nowhere.
I think, Lance, you nailed it when you were talking about the theme of this trip, which is just like the rate of change. Like everything changed every moment. Like nothing that we expected to happen, or none of our plans actually materialized, or just, I don't know what that is, but that's definitely the theme of this trip. Even the landscape changed dramatically.
So once again, we are airing up, and this is the end of this part of the trip for me. Once again, I got to give a massive thanks to Devos Outdoors for sponsoring this video, making the whole thing possible. If you haven't already, go check out their lights, and remember, Revere 12 gets you 12% off. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, if you've made it this far, you need to be subscribed to the channel so you can see the next one. And it always helps if you give the video a little thumbs up, leave a comment, give it a share. Thanks for watching.